Welcome back to Tottenham on Tour. We've had the right laugh behind the scenes because I've been messing up every single stream. So yeah, it would have been a great laugh. We'll have to try and do a blooper reel at one point. But welcome back to a premiere Morning Brews. Richarlison, big money or bigger dreams? Bournemouth, are they looking for a Solanke replacement? Poch to the USA national team and Kane and Dier back at Tottenham Hotspur. Stay tuned here. Right, before we get into this is probably our third, fourth recording because I've been messing up every single one previous to this. But anyway, Brian, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I think you've still got a £600,000 a week hangover, and that's why it's been happening. No, it's been, obviously, we've just finished Evening Brews. We're now recording the Morning Brews. I have to say, Johnny was incredible on his debut. Again, before we get into this, at Morning Brews, the guys that have been in the chat, guys and girls that have been in the chat, thank you so much. It is premiered, so you know we can't bring your comments up or respond to it, but we are in there, and I've been in there because I don't sleep anymore. I've gone from sleeping too much to hardly sleeping, and it's a pleasure to spend the time with you, and I'm looking forward to doing this one with you, Dave.
Yes, so am I. And again, let's reiterate that Johnny was fantastic. I thought he had a fantastic debut, came across extremely well, very balanced. And yeah, I think a lot of people in the chat and ourselves are going to look forward to seeing him again. We're getting a lot of great people on this channel. We've had Rich on the channel and others, Rinketic and the members show. And don't forget, tonight, which is what you'll be watching, will be the members show. So if you would like to join us and have a chat, there is a member section on a YouTube. Click it, become a member, and you can join us and have a great little chat with us. But anyway, let's get into Morning Brews for everyone. Richarlison, a report came out today that obviously Saudi were looking at purchasing Richarlison. Then it was obviously quickly squashed. And he came out with a bit of a statement with big money, but he has bigger dreams. And obviously he then come out with the Instagram post, which was him in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium saying, "I'm home." Obviously, with the reports and everything, we had a little bet and everything, which we're going to obviously readdress that bet behind the scenes and come and do a new one. But the charity stream will be going ahead with me and Brian at some point in the near future. It will be a 24-hour and it will be for mental health. When you've seen these reports obviously come out that Richarlison was going to be bought by Saudi, and obviously, you know, he came out and kind of, in his own way, squashed these rumors. Do you think that means Richarlison is staying and you're going to actually lose this bet? Or is there a possibility of him still leaving? Because Alistair Gold, just before you answer, Alistair Gold came out afterwards, and you've shown this on Evening Brews, stating that obviously it'd make more sense to keep Richarlison at Tottenham and purchase a striker like Solanke to play as well, to have more of a dimension, more of a rotation. What are your thoughts on this, and how do you feel about losing the bet?
So first of all, people know a few things with me. First of all, I don't lose stupid bets. Second of all, I always stand firm and stand by what I say. And then when it goes past the point of no return, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And if I'm right, I'm right. I still stand that Richarlison, in my opinion, is going to leave this summer. And the reason, listen, first of all, I want to say to Richarlison, not that I hope you're watching, and if you are watching, big up. You're not, but just in case. I love players showing that passion. I love players putting things out like that. That's what you want to see. I still think he goes, but we had the bet that I win if he goes to Saudi, you win if he goes anywhere in the world. I'm more inclined now to think that Saudi is done. But the way I look at it, it's all well and good he wants to stay, and I love his passion, I love his desire, and he said he was offered bigger money, and we all know for a fact Saudi would have definitely dwarfed what he earns at Tottenham Hotspur and made him a very, very rich, a richer man than he currently is. But I have heard, and I think along these lines as well, that the reason Spurs are looking to sell him is because they cannot guarantee his fitness. He is an injury concern. Now, he has said no to Saudi Arabia. If an Italian team came in, let's say a Champions League or Europa League, that kind of level, or Spain or Germany, and they offered him good money, and they would, maybe not as much as Saudi, definitely not as much as Saudi. I don't think if Solanke comes in, he's a first team. I think Solanke takes the number one spot. If it's Tony, I think Tony takes the number one spot. Then it becomes, is Richarlison going to be happy to play second fiddle? So I think I'm going to lose this bet now in the fact that he's not going to Saudi. But I still, for me, there's still a twist in the towel. There's still another twist for this saga. I don't think it'll be Saudi. I'm not ruling it out completely, but I'm standing firm that I don't think Richarlison leaving the club is out of the question. I think his dedication and passion is there, but if a big comes in and Spurs accept it, Europe, he may take it.
Yeah, going on that though, what you're saying obviously about his injuries and things like that, do you think a club's going to come in and actually offer that sort of money that Levy's going to want? Because obviously Levy is going to want to recuperate a majority of what we pay for Richarlison, which is what, 60 plus. We're haggling over like 1 or 2 million over Emerson. So even though Richarlison's injury prone, if you have rotation, them injuries become less of a worry. We say that with Neto. We use that exact same phrase for Neto, saying that if Neto was to be signed, we can then use Brennan Johnson, Kulusevski on that right side to do the rotation. So the less under stress and, you got less of a chance of them to be injured. I personally don't mind Richarlison staying, not because I'm winning the bet, but, overall, with Richarlison staying, it's all about the bet. No, it's not really. No, I just think I'm sick to death of us only having one player up front. I mean, we did it with Kane for years, and we seen what a struggle it was for Kane at times, where certain teams worked them out. We had no one to rotate with him to actually feed that different dimension into the attack. For me, the last true striker we had prior to Richarlison up front who actually made sense and worked with Kane was Llorente. Yeah, and for me, he got us into the Champions League. It was not Kane. It wasn't anyone. Llorente, the force he was up front, the ability to hold the ball, the ability to push defenders back, all that is the reason why we got so far in it, because teams struggle to play against that type of striker. Richarlison has similar aspects to that. Now, obviously, with his injury and coming back, he was a bit less inclined to be doing that, but what he will give you is if he was to be a rotation, Solanke, Tony up front, and he was that rotation player, you give him that 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you're adding a different dimension to them, but also he's going to try his best to prove a point to say, I'm the starter here, because he's a big character. On that, do you think January would be a better time to look at pushing him out the door?
This is where you got to look at it. I look at it, first of all, when you said about Harry Kane, in that Champions League season, obviously he got his injury and couldn't play the games of the final, but made no doubt about it, the reason we kept getting in the Champions League was obviously his goals to get us there, everything. But what I will say and this is where I was going with Harry, and why I brought that up with Harry Kane. Harry Kane guaranteed you 25 goals a season. Whether they'd all be in the league or more if you count the cup competitions, Harry Kane every season, I think apart from that one where the Man City stuff he missed the beginning, guarantees you 25 goals, or at least 25 goals and assists. Richarlison's highest Premier League return is 13. And if Spurs have ambitions to get back in the Champions League, they all say defences win your titles, but goal scorers win your games. I don't think Richarlison can stay fit enough to hit that 20. If we had the choice to bring in Solanke and Jonathan David, or Solanke and Tony, and Richarlison goes, and I had my choice. As much as I like Richarlison, his injury concerns are the big issue for me. And if we can get 50 million back for him, I'd take it. In January, as much as you could kick the can down the road, I think it's going to be now or never if we sell him, because he could get injured. He could get injured before January. But on the flip side, he could have a brilliant season. And January will be like, you ain't going anywhere. So like I said, when it comes to this whole thing, I love what he said. He's one that understands, and all fans, Everton fans, still love him. Watford fans, all right, he jumped ship a bit, but the Everton fans adore him still. And the fans do appreciate him, and I appreciate the things he said. I still think there's a twist in this saga coming.
Well, yeah, we'll let everyone know when that the new bet has been made, which is going to be my side's going to be he stays, Brian's is going to be he goes, but the charity stream, just to let everyone know, that is still going to happen. We're just going to do it as a separate thing where it's going to be a great show. We're going to get loads of people on, 24 hours of Tottenham on tour, and we're going to try and do it as best as we can, raise as much money for mental health, and just do it incredible. So we're going to have a great plan of that. It'll probably be near the end of the year, something like that, Brian. We'll probably
the best time to try and do it, obviously, will be like an international break.
Yeah.
But I believe the first one in September is when I'm having my surgery. So
so around that January time.
So we'll definitely get it done before the end of the year. When we say we're going to do something for mental health and addiction, we do it. It's just finding the time. So that will be happening.
It will be, yeah. So moving on, a report came out. It's been pushed all over X at the moment, with obviously everyone doing the little eye emojis all over it, and that is Bournemouth are apparently trying to hijack Stuttgart's attempt for Atalanta striker El Bilal Toure. He's 22 years old. Don't know much about him, you know what I mean? But it looks like Bournemouth are looking at him. If Bournemouth are actively looking for strikers, that pretty much tells you we're going for Solanke, and they're looking for the replacement now. They know Solanke's going to leave. They know we're going to pay the money. What have you? You don't look for replacements unless you know the player's going to go, because you don't waste the time. You don't waste the money it costs for scouts and agents and all that. I have a feeling it's going to be Solanke. I know a lot of people are saying it's a smokescreen for Tony. Personally, I don't see why we can't get them both. Let's have an abundance of strikers. Let's fill that position with so many players. It's crazy, because we always seem to fill the midfield. We've got about 8 or 9 of the bloody players there, you know. I in looking at it, and obviously you showed them stats to everyone, Bri, that showed Solanke actually them stats, like, you know what I mean, made him seem the perfect fit for what we need. Maybe not the perfect fit that what the fans want or who we believe we should get, but the stats kind of painted him in a nice light towards what we want as a pressing, aggressive, strong striker who can actually score goals. Yes, he had only one good season, and prior seasons have been bad, but that doesn't necessarily state that this season he comes to Tottenham and he gets his one goal. In this system, with the wingers we have and the way we play, he could hit 20 odd goals easily in that type of system. We seen it last season where Sonny was up front. The amount of times Timo Werner, Brennan Johnson, Kulu were putting balls in, and we were screaming to the high heavens saying we need a striker, because Sonny just couldn't do what a striker does.
Yep.
I believe after them stats you showed us, Solanke could fit that role very well. Now, obviously, he's not the striker I want, but I'm not going to be overly mad if he's the striker we get. You know what I mean? Obviously, I wish we bought an Osherman or spent money on Isak or something, but being realistic, Levy's never going to do that because he's a muppet. You know what I mean? And he can't spend that sort of money. What are your feelings on the fact that, you know, Bournemouth are looking to go for the striker, and basically that, really? Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
So first of all, they're looking for a player. I think, although we know that it's been broken that we haven't actually made an official bid yet, because why would we? Just over a week till the season starts. I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you put a bid in? I think he is coming. Is the smokescreen of Tony a smokescreen for Solanke? Is Solanke a smokescreen for Tony? Whatever it is, a striker needs to come in. Bournemouth, I will say, Bournemouth do things very, very smartly and they are a very, very well-run football club. For the size of the club they are, they're backed by very, very wealthy people, and they do things the right way. It does look like Solanke is going to be our man. I really did want to see him, like a Mickey van der Ven, in the crowd, ready to, whether we like him or not. I don't see what you said about you'd like to see Eze and Tony. Eze and Tony, I would love that. Solanke and Tony, bloody, that's my turn to make the cock-ups. Contagious. That only happens if Richarlison goes. There's no way, as much as you can imagine a front three or three choices of Solanke, Tony, Richarlison, in whatever order you want to put them in your preference, it's not happening unless Richarlison goes. So Solanke seems to fit the bill more. As much as I want Gyökeres, and I am talking just when I say fits the bill more, I'm talking style-wise for what Ange wants. I think the bigger killer instinct is obviously Ivan Toney. But we'll see. But with Bournemouth now looking for the replacement, I think it's Solanke that's coming.
Yeah. One quick question on that. Do you think, I know you mentioned obviously that we haven't put an official bid in yet. Do you think there's a possibility we've agreed everything with Bournemouth? They have asked us not to put in an official bid. So when they go for a target like that, they have a better chance of negotiating that deal rather than that other club knowing that they've got 60 odd million, whatever it is going to be, and they've got that sort of money there. I mean, Bournemouth are clever, and that could be a possibility. I'm not saying it's factual, but, you know, I'd be surprised if Bournemouth didn't ask for something like that. You know what I mean? So for me, it's one of them. It could be a possibility that we've agreed everything. We're allowing Bournemouth, like the reports were stating, we're waiting for teams to find the replacements. As always, you know what I mean? It's always one of them. Do you think that could be a possibility?
I am sorry. Every time you say as always, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, is it my time? Fred, like, wait a minute, are we finishing? Where were we? What I will say with this is football clubs aren't dumb. Like when we had the bail money and we went out spending beforehand, if they all of a sudden start going, oh, look, we're after a striker, we want your guy, it's fairly obvious that you're looking, especially if Bournemouth play with a one like they do. It's a bit different if you had a two, because you're like, okay, maybe you're trying to get, we don't know. The club, I can see that going on, and I do see that going on with other clubs in other deals, not just Tottenham and Solanke with Bournemouth. But these football clubs aren't. They're not done like we're doing this undercover. It's so obvious. It may help because they can't show their flush, but everyone knows what everyone's doing. But there could be something behind what you said. But I just think if it is, it's got a bit silly that teams can't work this out.
Yeah, I agree. Right, just quickly, we'll do a little halftime team talk. Brian Dergo came up with this, so I'm going to do it as well now. Please, whoever's watching, leave your thoughts in the comments. We love being there, watching you guys chatting, especially on a premiere. It makes us feel really, really good. Also, like and subscribe. It helps us massively. And for the first time, I'm going to attempt this in the back end, but in one of the corners in this screen on this video, a little pop-up will pop up to a link for our memberships. If you wish to join and become a member, click that link. It will take you to the part where you can join. That means on tonight's show, I nearly got it wrong, but on tonight's show, you'll be able to join me and Brian doing a 2-hour stream, and you'll be able to come, give your thoughts, feelings, whatever you want about Tottenham or whatever you want. You can have a great chat with us. So yeah, in one of these parts, I will pop up with a link to the memberships. If I can, we'll see if it works. If not, ignore everything I said.
If not, April Fools. August Fools.
August Fools, yeah. Anyway, moving on. A little report came out that we'll go through quickly on this one because obviously I just thought it'd be something to bring up. We like to do multiple news on Morning Brews, and that is Mauricio Pochettino is apparently the front runner for the USA national team. Now, when I seen this, I was actually quite surprised because I thought he was destined for either coming back to Tottenham at one point or going for England. I really thought England would actually look at Poch and actually probably try and tempt him to take over the England squad. I you know what I mean? With the players that England have, I think Poch should be perfect for that.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on this, him going to the USA national team, and would you have liked him to come to England?
So first of all, this could be like what we're saying with, it could be Pochettino saying that to maybe get England to look at him. It could be, there's so many, do you know what, it's silly season now with ITKs and all these rumours and back and forth and could this mean this and this mean that. I'm so frazzled with everything. I can't wait for this window to be open, closed, and then we don't have to worry about transfers. We just talk football. I think it'd be brilliant in England. I also think if Eddie Howe goes to England, he's destined for Newcastle. People are saying he'd do wonderful with this team. Should Ange push, walk, quit, whatever. I don't want him back at Spurs, especially under Levy. Especially under Levy, especially when we're seeing the lack of activity with Ange. He's seen it before.
Yeah.
So I hope he goes to England. But if he goes to America, he'd do very well. America. I was about to say American football, but then you're thinking NFL. I'm not going to say the S word. American S, and I do mean the round ball. I just can't say the word. Do you know what I'm going to say? Just soccer.
Soccer.
I hate saying
American
it.
soccer.
That word, I hate it. I hate the word. It's football. He would do very well. He's gone through a bit of a rough time. They were eliminated out of the Copa America at the group stages. He could do very, very well for them. Very well. And you've got to remember, if he does that, it's building up to a World Cup. So being a national manager is a big thing. So there could be some weight behind it. What are you reckoning with it?
Yeah, I agree. I think he'd do really well. And I think for me, there's one player that I think would just do so well under him. I don't know if he still plays for the USA national team, but that's Pulisic. He's like their god over there when it comes to football. And if he was to still be, I don't know, I don't follow it. So if he isn't a part of it anymore, I do apologize. But if he is, I think he'd be the type of player that Poch would actually love.
Yeah,
but I'm not here to follow national teams. I'm not here. Wales don't even get into half the things, so I don't bother. I only watch England because Emsy's English and I'm stuck to watching it. And I get to wind her up a lot, which is fun.
Correct.
But yeah, anyway, moving on. Kane and Dier this Saturday are coming back to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And apparently they're going to be presented with a present. Who knows what that present's going to be? For me, I think it's going to be a bill for all their times and all the utilities they used at Tottenham and all the training gear and everything. I think personally, when a player leaves, I'm past any dramas. I'm past what they did at Tottenham or anything like that. For me, the second a player's out the badge, that's it. He's no longer the player. I don't care what they do. That's how I've always been. That's how I always will be. Even Gareth Bale. When he moved to Real Madrid, I did not care one iota of what he did at Real Madrid. Didn't bother me whatsoever. It was always Wales, and that was it. What are your feelings of Kane and Dier coming back, and your thoughts on the present situation and stuff like that? And do you think Christian Romero starts and takes out Harry Kane's ankles?
God, that's a lot to take in. First of all, if you had we're about to enter the second season post Harry Kane. And Harry Kane's going to come and look at that front line. The front line he left and spearheaded. And the only new face he's going to see is Timo Werner. If that doesn't speak volumes to fans, that's one thing. Harry Kane will go down. Obviously, I don't think his record will be beaten in my lifetime.
No.
In my lifetime, unless Mikey Moore gets the ball rolling at 16 and commits his career to us, then we'll see. But I don't see that happening in my lifetime. Obviously, Jimmy Greaves was the record he beat. We know how long that took. If that takes another 50, 60 years, I'm going to be 90. I'm going to be 100. I'm going to be 100. If it's another 40 years, more than 40 years, 60. Oh, my maths, it's me today. I'm going to be around between 85 to 100 around the time that goes. If it happens again in my lifetime, we did him a disservice. Yes, he didn't turn up sometimes in the final. Every season he had a quota to fill, so to speak, of being top goal scorer for the club, getting the goals that propelled the club into the Champions League. He did it every season. When he said, match my ambition, I'm not going down that road, but you know where I'm going. He's coming back to this football club. You're having to pay to watch our record goal scorer come back whilst we have Timo Werner. That's another thing. Listen, the whole gift thing, the thing that's made me laugh about it is you would have thought if a certain owner had some balls, you'd go down and give the gifts to him yourself. Say thank you for your service, he won't step onto the pitch because he knows what will happen. I think announcing 2 days before that they'll be given a gift, knowing how Spurs Twitter is right now and what happens when you do things like that, stupid. Him coming back to the lane, listen, one of my biggest regrets ever as a Spurs fan is I never ever saw Gareth Bale live. Ever. Obviously, the second occasion I was here on COVID, first time I was just quitting drinking, so I wasn't going out in that final season. I had the privilege of seeing that man, Harry Kane, many a time. I also had the somewhat, if you want to call it privilege, of seeing Kane and Dier, if you want to call it privilege. Them two coming back, it's a wonderful thing to see. You know they're both going to score. They're both going to pick up their trophies. If they get trophies and they hold it aloft, I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry with laughter. But there's nothing more we can do, is it? They're coming back. It's going to be a good game of football. We're really seeing now because last week it was they looked tired, they were hot, they've been training, the weather, whatever. They've been back in London for a week. They know these settings very well. They're back home. I would imagine Ange will play the best part of what he has planned for Leicester. Well, I think Destiny may be rested to make sure he's there. And we'll see where we're at, won't we, Dave?
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing them back, you know what I mean, and just seeing how we play. And this is where the last part of this happens for the last 4 minutes, and that is, we've seen a lot of the players come back now. I think everyone's back now. Do you think Ange is going to go for the team we're going to see against Leicester? So that's going to be Vicario, Romero, Van der Ven. Obviously, Udogie can't be fit, so I reckon, personally, I think he's going to put a Spence there. I'd like to see a Donnelly because he's more astute to the left foot, but he might put Spence there, and we're going to see Porro. Midfield, I think it's going to be a Maddison, Sarr, Bissouma. Up front, it's going to be, I think it's probably going to be Timo, Sonny, Brennan. Or, I know. That's the team I think we're probably going to see against Bayern to start with. I think also we'll see a lot of changes with kids, you know what I mean? The Mikey Moores, the Lancashires, the Bergvalls, the Archgraves. Because obviously, this is going to be the first time they're in front of our fans. And that stadium, regardless, is going to be rocking. And just going to want these players to feel that. Especially the Mikey Moores, the Lancashires, the Bergvalls, and Archie Gray. Do you think that's the type of team he's going to put out? And would you want to see that type of team? Or would you like say, look, start with the kids to start off with, let them have their fun, bring all the first team players on with like, you know what I mean, second half or, you know what I mean, what have you left to keep them from risk of injury before Leicester? Because Leicester's the most important game out of anything. Right. That first game of the season is the most important. You've got to start off strong. If you don't start off strong, it's just a constant worry through the season that bad things going to happen. In it, really. Do you know what I mean? So you want to go to that first game of the season, full, strongest team, go win. So how are you feeling about this, and what do you feel like the team's going to look like?
Archie Gray starts for me. That front line is a real concern. Yeah. Do I think that's the starting lineup for Leicester as well? No, I think there will be a striker. There best be a striker on the books by Leicester. There best be. I think you're pretty much right with everything else. I think you might go. Actually, I think what you might do is give one half to Van der Ven and one half to Romero, and have Dragusin maybe play the 90 minutes because he's a little bit further along. We'll have to wait and see, but I don't know which one of the midfielders I would take out of Bissouma or Sarr. I think at the moment I've seen more from Bissouma this preseason than I have Sarr, so probably Bissouma, Gray, Maddison. And then we'll see. But like I said, if we start this game against Bayern Munich on Saturday and it's the same team starting against Leicester, the fan base is not going to be happy.
Yeah, I agree. The fan base will not be happy. I mean, majority of them not happy now anyway, but it would be even worse then, wouldn't it? But
correct.
There we go. This is your Morning Brews premiere done. Please get in them comments. Leave us Any comment you want, if you agree, disagree, your thoughts on everything we've spoken about, please get in the comments and let us know, because we will be there. And yeah, so another great Morning Brews premiere done, Bri.
It certainly is. It's been great doing it. Obviously, we'll be back Monday morning with another Evening Brews, and I believe most of the week until Ben is back from Sardinia. Having lots of fun doing this with you. Obviously, there's no Evening Brews this evening. It'll be Evening Brews /transfers on tour /fan show. And then the weekend. So thank you once again for all your incredible support, people.
Yeah. So I'm going to give my little leaving joy, and that's Doma Nimin. Brian, sir, take it away.
And as always, Levy out.